Play ball! Blue 22!
You are watching Sports and Sorts live on YouTube. That's 75% sports, 25% sorts. And here are your hosts, Shane and the Bry Man.
Yeah, buddy, it's Monday morning, and we are back. That's right, baby. Back. We have some good
better
stuff to
than
talk.
ever?
We're pretty good.
It's up for debate.
We're pretty good, as almost always. Anyway, we have some stuff to talk about today, but first of all, I am one of your hosts. My name is Shane. You can find me on Twitter at...
Oh, I didn't. You don't usually do the Twitter stuff.
I know.
You threw me.
At Einhorn Finkel, and the show at Shane and Bryman on Twitter.
Okay. Well, I'm the Bry Man. You can find me on Twitter at _Bry_man. I guess we're doing this now.
Yeah, well, why not? And then also, if you haven't had the chance yet, can you please go and hit that subscriber button? Smash that shizzle.
I'm going to need you to smash it.
You know, hit that thumbs up. Give us a thumbs up. Hit the notification bell. Do all those kind things for kind people. Well, I don't know if we're that kind. Well, the Bry Man is definitely kind. He's a kind-hearted guy, but sometimes you wouldn't know it from the way that he says things.
Am I kind-hearted?
I think so. I think you're a kind guy. I think you're a very warm and kind guy.
I have my moments.
Yeah. I think ultimately your heart shines through.
Oh, thank you. That's nice.
Especially to the people that know you.
Yeah.
The superficial people that don't really know you, that get in wars with you on Twitter.
You know what?
Otherwise.
I may not be the kindest person, but there is one thing I am good at. I'm good at surrounding myself with people that are significantly better than me, like you, and my other closest friends are. You know, like I surround myself with good people. That is probably my super. If I had to say like I had a superpower, it'd be that. Like, yeah. I'm not like the best human ever, but I surround myself with good people, which I think by osmosis helps me become better.
Yeah, and I do the same. I surround myself with smarter people just to elevate my smartness.
All right, well, it's not me. He must be talking about other people.
Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. All right.
Frankly, I don't know what you get out of this relationship.
A bearded wonder.
Yeah, beard's thick. This is weird for me. I got to shave it. This is too much.
Yeah, it's too much.
Yeah, it's very.
Mine gets like a little bit longer than this. I'm like, it's too much. I gotta shave it down a little bit.
But you know, it hasn't been like warm yet, so I haven't like really had the impetus.
It's been windy. You need the fur to keep your face warm.
It's true. It's true.
All right, so we have some stuff to talk about today. You saw it in the subject. Or you saw it in the description, in the title of the show. We are going to be talking about the state of the Yankees. Are they boring? There was an article in The Guardian that was pointed out to me this morning. And I won't say I read it from tip to tail, as you like to say.
Pillar to post?
I did not read it that thoroughly, but I scanned it, I got a basic idea, a good idea of what it was about. Yeah. I agree and disagree with it. And then also we'll get into the Yankees, talk about if they're actually boring or not. And then we will get into Aaron Rodgers. Everybody knows that Aaron Rodgers has been on the news quite a bit. Started off with, applause with he did an exceptional job on Jeopardy. People are saying that he should get the job. I am one of those people. I think he should. I don't think it would take away from his football career at all. And also he's come out in the news because he's basically like, bye Felicia, as a, little nod to our last week's episode, where if you haven't seen it already, we recast Friday, and it was a very difficult task. And still, you could argue, who plays Smokey? Who plays Smokey? But I did want to point out, that we did last week. We did a Twitter poll, with who do you think who had the best draft in the AFC East? We got 40 votes. and the Jets won 52.5%. Dolphins came in second at 27.5%. Patriots.
Wow, this is a big gap.
Yeah, Patriots 12.5%, and Bills last was 7.5%, and that's I would say that's probably pretty close to accurate. I think the voters did a good job in keeping it. Probably. I mean, the only thing I disagree with is I think the Jets did not have a good draft because I think their quarterback's going to be terrible.
He might be.
I think he's going to bomb. I don't think he's going to do a good job. I think he's going to have a hard time staying healthy. I think they just basically got the same quarterback, just who's not quite as durable. And, Sam Darnold has proven that he can take hits, but they still don't have a good offensive line.
He can't take mono, though.
Yeah, well, was it him that kept him out? Who knows?
I don't know.
But anyway, there was a lot of issues in the Jets organization, and I don't think that they've really corrected them all that much. So I wouldn't be surprised if they are still kind of spinning in circles. But I would say that I think the Dolphins had the better draft. You would probably disagree. You probably think the Jets had a better draft. I think the Dolphins, because they drafted potentially, I mean, after pick 2 or 3, I think it's all just a crapshoot. I don't think it's even worth really talking about those picks until 2-3 years down the road, because it's such a crapshoot. You don't really know who's going to be a stud and who's not. So, because if you were sure they were going to be a stud, they would have been drafted in the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, I wouldn't grade drafts until at least 2 years after.
Yeah, and that's the whole problem with grading drafts, is that you really just don't know. And
you're mostly grading based on what the team needs are. That's what you're grading on, because you cannot possibly grade on results.
Right. It's impossible. even the top
person is.
Really, the first round is the only one that the teams are super sure about. And then sometimes when there's really heavy drafts, deep drafts, where there's lots of cornerbacks, lots of, linebackers, lots of offensive line, lots of quarterbacks to choose from. Yeah, then you can dive into the second round and be like, oh yeah, I'm still pretty sure about these guys. But so overall, the first 2 to 3 rounds, those are the ones you're fairly certain about. Everybody after that is just kind of garbage. And if it works out, it works out. But the Dolphins have a chance to have 4, maybe 5 starters on their team out of that draft.
Well, for sure, your first 2 first-round picks, those both need to be starters. Mm-hmm. And now the Dolphins did they waived Bobby McCain, their safety, which means that Javon Holland, who was their 3rd overall pick, he's getting thrown into it.
Right.
So that means those 3 guys, I mean, unless they're just terrible in camp and OTAs and preseason, those 3 guys are going to start in one way, shape, or form.
So they have lots of starters on their team, and that's a pretty good job. So that's the only thing that I would say that, and even if you all have a bunch of starters on the Jets were terrible last year. The Jets are probably going to be terrible again this year. So being a starter on a terrible team is not as impressive as being on the Dolphins, who had a winning record last year. They had a much better season.
By the way, the Bills coming in where they came in, that's where you want them to be, because they had the fewest holes to fill. And you wanted them to only get 7% of that vote.
They did the best you could do with those picks.
I think they did. I still would have liked to have seen them get a running back, but I shouldn't say that as a as a not Bills fan. I'm glad they did not get one.
Yeah. But there's so many other ways to get running backs, though.
But they didn't need it. They didn't need it. They still have the best running back in the AFC East in Josh Allen.
I mean, I don't want him running as much.
I know, but he is.
But it's nice to have that quarterback that can move around, especially. But they got some offensive linemen. They got, so they're good. I'm happy.
Fair is fair. He is the best running back in the AFC East. He is.
Yeah.
Just not formally at the position, but he's the guy who scares me the most.
Yeah, I mean, because he can move, and he's strong.
Kills the Dolphins. Kills the Dolphins. Kills them.
He's a strong guy. All right. So that was I just wanted to touch on that Twitter poll real quick from last week, and let's get into Let's
the
get
Aaron Rodgers discussion?
into the state
Seems
of the
like a good.
Yankees, right? Well,
Oh, you want to do?
what do you want to say, Aaron Rodgers? You want to go right into Aaron Rodgers? All right. Well, then let me cue up the old little thing here for the NFL. We are going to get into the NFL right here, right now, and we will talk about Aaron Rodgers. You sent me this because I wanted to actually talk about it last week, and I just completely dropped. We kind of ran late and everything like that.
We didn't have time.
We didn't have the time to really get into it, but it really started to show its face last week. A little bit before our show. Probably like the Friday before or so, maybe Thursday before last week. But it's kind of still building up a little bit of steam here.
Oh, it's not done.
No, it's not done.
It's just getting started, actually.
I would like to hear your thoughts on this, and I want to hear what you're going to say about it because I have no idea. Although you just sent this text message to me. I wish I took a screenshot of it and put it up there. But it said, "Is Aaron Rodgers a whiny little bitch?"
I should have thrown in the word prick too, because so yeah. Let's talk about this. By the way, that was a rhetorical question. I believe he is, and I believe he is a severe prima donna and a diva. All of that stuff.
I would say he's a prima donna. I would definitely give you that. I think he's a bit of a prima donna. I think he.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now
I'll give you that.
let's turn the page back a few chapters to where this all started. This all started over a year ago when, for whatever reason they had, the Packers decided to draft Jordan Love with their late first round pick. I don't remember what it was, maybe 27, something like that. So they took maybe a guy who they theoretically thought was going to be Aaron Rodgers' replacement. Mm-hmm. Not an obscene or absurd gesture at the time. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is a 6-year-old man right now. Okay.
Yes.
He's on the, if you want to talk about NFL careers, I don't care how much longer you think he's going to play. The man is on the back nine. He ain't on the front. Okay. So but his beef was, they didn't consult him before they made that pick. Well,
yeah, they don't really
I hate to break it to you. Do you think they consulted Brett Favre before they picked you? Kind of tough. It was a real hypocritical spot for him. You know, I feel like there was that. I think when it came out, when that happened a year ago, I remember putting the tweet up with the GIF of, you know, like when Selena Kyle like disappears from Batman in in Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
And he turns around and he's like, so that's what that feels like.
So stupid.
You know, and like that's what Aaron Rodgers had to be saying when they drafted Jordan Love. So that's what that feels like. Now he knew what Brett Favre felt like. And so now so that happens a year ago, right? Now how does Aaron Rodgers respond to that? The best possible way a quarterback can respond. He goes out, he has an amazing year and wins a third MVP. Mm-hmm. I mean, the dude, Aaron Rodgers is an all-time quarterback. I still, if you ask me the question right now, given the choices that I have, and there are some good choices in the NFL, if you give me that question, you need a guy to complete a drive to win a Super Bowl for you right now, I'm picking Aaron Rodgers. And I mean that no disrespect. I do mean disrespect to Tom Brady because I hate him and he's a cheater. But no disrespect to him. No disrespect to Patrick Mahomes, who's also won. You know, no disrespect to guys like Josh Allen, who obviously is a special player. Lamar Jackson, who's a special player. I'm taking Aaron Rodgers in that spot. I don't know about you, but I am. Drew Brees is gone, so you can't even put him in that conversation anymore. He's not dead. He's just retired. You can't. So I'm taking Aaron Rodgers in that spot. So Aaron Rodgers goes out and responds to the Jordan Love draft pick as best as possible. He puts the chip on his shoulder, of which he's had anyway since the moment he was drafted late in the first round by the Packers, expecting to be He expected to be the number one pick, I think, in 2005. And his feelings got hurt because, he wasn't that guy. It ended up being Alex Smith, and then he falls all the way into the late 20s. And then they go and they pick his replacement in the late 20s, 16 years later, whatever. Listen, Aaron Rodgers is a smart guy. He's a cerebral guy. He should know that above all else, the NFL, more than anything else, is a business. It's business, dude. This is a business. This isn't personal. This is a business. That's the way it is. The NFL is always looking for your replacement. That's the nature of this game. It's a violent sport. You're one hit away from that replacement needing to be ready to go. You're as good as your last play in the NFL. And then in a breath, it can be gone. So I'm not going to sit here and fault the Green Bay Packers for picking Aaron Love. And I'm not going to fault them for not consulting Aaron Rodgers about it. That would be like, that'd be like me, like the CEO of the company I work for needing to consult me for something. What? I don't think so. Oh, you want to hire this person? You better run that by me. Yeah, no, I don't think so. That's not how it works. That's not how it works in the NFL. Ownership, upper management, coaches make those decisions, not the players. Like, I don't want to sit here and sound like a just shut up and play football kind of person. But when it comes to this sort of thing, I really don't believe that Aaron Rodgers needs to be consulted on draft picks. Now, what I would tell you, had it been me at that time a year ago, I would have done everything I could to surround Aaron Rodgers with weapons, because that's what he needed. And he needed that again this year. And the Packers took their sweet time again getting him weapons, not getting him one until the third or fourth round in wide receiver Amari Rodgers from Clemson, who, by the way, I think is a good player. It also has, could theoretically have the nickname A-Rod. So they A-Rod to A-Rod, and he's already got Devontae Adams. Thankfully, he got Aaron Jones back in his backfield. So he's got weapons. That's the mistake, though, that I think the Packers made. Now, this is not the end of the diva-esque behavior. This is really that was just the tip of the iceberg. Now, but again, to close the page on that chapter, Rodgers did the best thing he could. He went and he won an MVP, and he got his team, to an NFC Championship game, where he faltered yet again. And what's interesting too about Aaron Rodgers is now he's starting to work his way into this conversation. You can make all the excuses you want about weapons not being around him, and that's true. He does need more than Devontae Adams and Aaron Jones. I would agree with that. I think he needs another wide receiver, and I think he needs another, although they've got a decent tight end. But he's beginning to now move into the Brett Favre conversation of, am I just going to win one? Great as I am, top 10, top 5 quarterback maybe even, if we'll see. But am I just going to win one? It's possible. Now, last week, this is where he lost me. He referred to Packers general. So then there's a couple things with Packers general manager Brian Gutekunst. Excuse me. I think it's Gutekunst. Kunt. McGruber. Gutekunst. He's got that last name that I was like, man, I really don't want to pronounce that last name. Brian Gutekunst. So it got out that he wanted Brian Gutekunst fired. Otherwise, there was no chance of him coming back. I despise this kind of crap. I hate that kind of shit. I hate that stuff. You're cancel culturing your general manager.
Would you like that for Brian Cashman right now?
Yeah, but his time has come.
Okay.
It's over. I think it's over with Brian Cashman. Listen, Brian Cashman's been in that role for like 20 years. It is time to move on, in my opinion, from him.
Okay.
He's been in that role for more than 20 years. 22, right?
Okay.
It's time. It's time for him to move on. 22 to 23 years to have a job like that in sports is like unheard of. So bravo to Brian Cashman for basically only winning one championship. I mean, I know people will give him credit for others, but I kind of can't. Anyways, so I hate that. That really rubbed me the wrong way. And then he doubled down and he referred to Brian Gutekunst as Jerry Krause, the former GM of the Chicago Bulls. Now, what's interesting about that is that now I understand that after watching the Jordan documentary that you might think that that's like a really bad insult. If fresh off of that series, I'm not so sure that that's really an insult. Jerry Krause did win 6 championships and kept a team together with a whole lot of egos for as long as he. Yes, the big hit against Jerry Krause is, why didn't we run it back one more time? Yeah. Okay, fine. All right, if you want to hit Jerry Krause, you want to ding him on that, okay, fair enough.
What about Scottie Pippen? Like, he didn't really handle the Pippen situation very well.
But how about this? The guy got 6 of them, though. He got 6 championships. That is... look, you can say whatever you want about Jerry Krause.
It's a little lucky, though. Well, because you had...
He had Jordan.
But
yeah, of course.
So it's not that that's the luck, but it's the person that Jordan was.
Yeah.
And then the Zen master, them together with the fiery competitor who would literally punch a teammate in the face to the Zen master who's kind of like, chill, baby, chill.
Here's my problem. You're right. But here's my problem ultimately. Ultimately, in that analogy, what Aaron Rodgers is telling you is that he thinks he's Michael fucking Jordan. You're not Michael Jordan. You're a great player. You're a great player. You are, as I just said, the guy whose hand I'd want the ball in a Super Bowl drive right now at the moment. Yes, that is true. But that's just to me, that just means you're the best in this moment. You just analogized yourself to possibly the greatest athlete who will ever live. Probably almost certainly the greatest athlete I'll ever see in my lifetime. And that is now you've lost me. Aaron Rodgers has just lost me right now because he's just not.
I don't know about Jordan. Greatest athlete. I think greatest athlete in his sport.
Well, it's arguable. I mean, Muhammad Ali might be the greatest athlete ever lived.
I think Bo Jackson was better.
All of this is up. That's all stuff that's.
I would go Bo Jackson. 100.
The bottom line is Aaron Rodgers is not in that conversation. So. And I like Aaron Rodgers, the player. The person leaves a lot to be desired. He's just a surly kind of, I don't mind that he keeps to himself and all that, and that's fine. He's a private guy, all of which is fine. I know he's got issues with his family and stuff like that. And it seems like he's got a weird way of breaking up with women, whatever. I don't give a shit about any of his personal life. Okay. But he does conduct himself in a really bizarre manner. I mean,
he's a weird dude. He's weird.
He's quirky. He's a weird, quirky guy. But I do believe in this, he's wrong. He has a contract that pays him handsomely, probably undervalues him, quite frankly. I mean, it was a 4-year, $134 million deal. I think his average per annual is like around 33. That's a bargain. That's a bargain for him. Coming off an MVP season in which he was just red hot all year, rarely made a mistake. His touchdown to interception ratio is just outstanding. He's a special player, but Michael Jordan, he is not. No. And comparing the Packers GM, who's never won anything, to Jerry Krause is also weird and off and not accurate. So I struggle with Aaron Rodgers right now. I really think that listen, he had a beef in terms of them not getting and bringing in enough talent around him. That part I'll agree with. Because I think I think you can attest to this as a Bills fan. I believe that every great quarterback still needs great weapons. It's very rare. In fact, I still struggle with the argument of I'll name you a quarterback who doesn't have great weapons. I'm sorry. Every quarterback has had great weapons. The Bills, they've got Diggs. The Bills have they had Diggs and Beasley last year. What a combination that was. for Josh Allen. And now they
For
added
sure.
Emmanuel Sanders, and I think Marquez Stevenson was their draft pick from Houston, who I like. The guy, he's got what's his name there? Knox, the tight end.
Yeah,
I mean,
I love Dustin.
He's got weapons. Aaron Rodgers has Devontae Adams, and he's got Aaron Jones in the backfield, which is great. And then, it's a little bit open after that. So I would have liked to have seen the Packers. That is one beef I will say Aaron Rodgers has. He really could have used another wide receiver opposite Devontae Adams to make Devontae Adams even more of a threat.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, again, just to kind of wrap this all up, to me, it was a sort of a rhetorical issue. I do believe he's a whiny little bitch. And I don't feel bad for him. The guy's got a great contract and he does have a great life and he is adored in that city.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I think questioning your employer in terms of who they draft. I mean, again, dude, it's so hypocritical of you to be critical of that. They did that to the guy who you succeeded. They drafted you to succeed Brett Favre, who was, by the way, not done at that point.
No.
As you recall. Brett Favre went on and still had another couple of pretty good years after that. He had a monster year in Minnesota. So, look, and honestly, if Aaron Rodgers is really this pissed, here's how I'll wrap it up.
Mm-hmm.
Just retire from football, leave the rest of that money on the table, and go fucking host Jeopardy. It's what you want to do anyway. I think everyone knows that. You've made it very clear, unless you're trying to play some kind of weird game of chicken between, like Merv Griffin Enterprises and the NFL, although I don't know if Jeopardy is part of Merv Griffin. I just threw that out there. But you're basically trying to play chicken between Jeopardy and the Packers. Mm-hmm. If you want to just go fucking host Jeopardy and be the guy to replace the late, great, immortal Alex Trebek, then go for it. Just go.
That would be replacing two of the immortals, huh?
Yeah,
Brett Favre and Alex legacy.
Trebek. It is quite the legacy. I say just go. Just go.
He can do both. He doesn't have to do one or the other.
He could, yeah.
It's the off season. It's a short season.
He can do both because actually they can. I think Jeopardy has already said we could film, lots and lots of episodes in the off season, and leave you. Yeah, so he can do both. You're right.
Yeah, he could easily do both. All right. I had posted this on Twitter. Let me see what we got over here. I'll put it up on the screen here, and so far, it's saying, let's see. Refresh.
What was the
7 votes so far? It says, "Is Aaron Rodgers a whiny prima donna?"
Oh, you didn't say little bitch.
I didn't. Yeah, no. Because if I do that, then I'll get the flag on Twitter, and they'll be like, "Hey, are you sure you want to say this?" And then I'll be like, "Yeah," and then I might get in trouble, and I don't want to get any flags. Especially on our Sports and Sorts account,
Yeah.
And so right now it's 71.4% nope.
Really?
And 20. Oh, it just changed. It's 75% nope. And 25% yep.
Oh, so people disagree with me.
So far.
Okay. All right. Nobody wants to be critical of Aaron Rodgers. They're afraid of him.
I think he's a prima donna. I don't think he's a whiny prima donna.
Oh, I think it's whiny. I think it's the way that this is played out.
He's very passive aggressive.
Yeah. Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's passive aggressive, but
he just comes off as whiny. He's got that resting bitch face that drives me nuts.
To me, it's like he thinks he's suave. I think that's. I think he thinks he's very suave. He's a quirky dude. He's kind of funny. I don't know. It's tough. It's tough to.
But you know what's going to happen? It's not that this is a bad thing.
Herpes?
It's a great thing. What? Herpes? Did you say herpes?
Oh, you said what's going to happen. I just assumed that's where you were going.
No, I was just going to say.
You said all the girlfriends he broke up with in a weird way. I just didn't know.
He's just going to end up being Brett Favre. and again, that's not a bad thing.
Well, then he might get herpes. No, all those pics that the Favrenator was throwing out there.
Oh my God. Anyways, his legacy as far as winning will be Brett Favre. He's probably a better dude than Brett Favre. Brett Favre's got some, as we're discovering in retirement and even before retirement, Brett Favre's got some skeletons.
Well, he never popped any pills. Oh wait.
He's done some things. That's all you can say about Brett Favre.
And that's
Brett
just
Favre
what he
has
did off the
done some
field.
things. You know, of all the things in Brett Favre's career, texting dick pics to cheerleaders and, basically sounding, I don't know if he was outed as a racist this offseason. I think he's a Trump guy, whatever. Of all the things he's ever done, though, I mean, I really do like the commercials with Jerry Rice with the copper fit. It almost made me want to buy it. I just like him and old man Jerry Rice just like invading.
I bought some
pickup game of football, and
I bought a little bit of copper fit stuff a long time ago, like a long time ago. It doesn't really work.
Yeah,
it's.
I don't think it does anything.
It's just like having a slight knee brace or a slight elbow brace or something like that.
I actually, before I started,
I think it's
when
good.
because as you know, I wear a compression sleeve on my left leg. Yep. When I was looking into those, the first one I did get was a copper fit, and it either I didn't get the right size or it just didn't compress very well. It was such a thin fabric.
It is. It's very
the
thin.
one I wear now.
It's not strong. It's not like a tight compression.
Right. The ones I wear now are awesome. I never have any issues whatsoever. And the thing is, I always have it on. It's just literally a part of me now. I just don't even know it's on. People ask me about it all the time too, especially in the summer. And I'm like, and I always forget that it's on because it's just, I always have it on, and I'm just like, oh, that? I'm like, oh yeah, I've got this issue with my leg,
Oh yeah. So all right, now we're 80%. Nope. 20%. Yeah. We'll see how it goes throughout the show.
I'm getting canceled.
The Bry Man. Canceled by Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers got me too, I guess. He's gonna get Brian Gutekunst and Brian Christina. He's getting all the Brians.
Brian Gutekunst and Brian Christina Kunz. Kunth. We'll call you Christina Kunth.
Kunth.
All right. So let's get on. Let's switch over. That's our Aaron Rodgers talk of the day. Is he a prima donna? Go ahead and vote on Twitter if you can. Also, sound off in the comments here if you want to. You can throw it up there and let us know if you think Aaron Rodgers is a whiny prima donna. And we'll see what happens. We'll see where this goes. As of right now, we've got 10 votes already in 5 minutes. Which is not too bad. 80% say no. All right. Let's move on to the state of the Yankees, baby.
The state of the Yankees.
Yeah, let's go Yankees. 7-3 in their last 10. They have not been playing the stiffest competition, but they have been playing well. Stanton, he's having some success over the last couple of weeks. LeMahieu looking a little better. Frazier, not. For your poor boy, Clint Frazier, man.
Yeah.
Talk about a guy who I kind of feel bad for. It's a guy that I want to have success. I think he's going to have big slumps and he'll have big highs. He's going to have some serious streaks where he is just smashing the ball.
Peaks and valleys.
Yeah, and I think that's what his career is going to be. And you just got to hope that he gets one of those. I think he'll thrive more under the pressure of the big games. I think that you might see him perform really well in the postseason and the playoffs and maybe in the World Series, because I think he kind of thrives on that stuff a little bit.
Yeah, the problem he's going to have is, would he even make it to a postseason game? Because at this point, he's working himself into getting replaced by Esteban Florial.
Yes, he has been playing very poor. In the last week or so, he's batting almost less than 100. And
brutal watching him.
He is just having a rough go around, which is unfortunate. Sanchez, again, still not pulling his weight, as you like to say. He's not hitting his weight.
She's definitely not.
Gleyber Torres, kind of coming around here and there. Hit a nice bomb yesterday. I'm waiting for more. I think the more fans that get back in the stadium, you're going to see this team click a little bit more. I don't think that they're going to light the world on fire at the beginning. But I mean, obviously they're turning things around a little bit. Their pitching is just good, is just solid. And that's really what's helping them the most. And then you just got to get some guys out there that are going to be, hitting the ball pretty well from time to time. And, Aaron Hicks is, as much as I dislike him, as much as you dislike him, he's been hitting the ball well.
There's slight improvement. I wouldn't say he's hitting the ball well.
Well, in the last 7 games, he's batting .412. So I mean,
it doesn't seem like it.
I know. Well, he's had some good games. So Aaron Judge still nothing.
Frankly, Stanton's the guy getting it done right now.
Yeah.
Stanton is just walking up to the plate, dropping trow, and saying, "Look how big my dick is." That's what he's doing right now.
DJ LeMahieu.
Look at the size of this thing.
DJ LeMahieu's pulling his weight.
Well, DJ LeMahieu always pulls his weight. He's like that guy you take for granted, because he's just so awesome. And I mean,
I
love
that guy.
I know you do. I know you should. You should love him. In fact, I have to tell you right now,
he should have gotten that guy out yesterday too with that play up the middle. And Ford dropped the ball.
I will tell you right now, if I was going to, even though Clint Frazier is still, I guess, technically my favorite baseball player, although it's getting hard to defend him.
Yeah.
If you like gun to my head right now and you said, okay, you got to spend $300, $250, $270 on an authentic jersey, I'm getting DJ LeMahieu. First of all, he's going to be a Yankee for the next 6 years, and he's the most reliable guy. And I don't even know that it would be close.
Yeah. I don't know if he'll actually be in the lineup every day for 6 years.
I think so. I think he's the type of player and body type that just stays healthy.
Yeah, I think he'll be healthy. I can't see him batting 280.
Well, it's another
5 years.
It's another 5 years. So he'll be 37 when the contract runs out.
Yeah, that's old.
It's not that old.
It's old.
I don't think that's that bad.
It's pretty old. I'd be surprised if he's still putting up like a 300 batting average in 2 years.
Now, I wanted to sort of get though, because I think when I don't know if you mentioned it, sorry, when you started the segment, but you had sent that article from The Guardian.
The Guardian. I talked about it at the beginning.
The Yankees are boring.
Yes.
They are. And the one thing I can tell you, it's
so I'll read something real quick from The Guardian real quick. Kind of the last little, oh man, did it just restart on me? Son of a beast thing.
But what I can tell you while you're doing that is, I remember a couple of days ago when they won the first of the 2 in a row walk-offs, which was like, what was it? Like, didn't LeMahieu hit that like bleeder over to third base they had the drawn in infield with 5 guys in the infield, and they ended up winning. And I just remember texting to the Yankees text group, even wins suck. Like, even the wins are boring.
Yeah.
Like, they're just,
I think it helps.
I think
it hurts with not having many fans
there's no like dramatic walk-off home runs or like not like a base, not like a double into the gap or something. Just this dribbler that bleeds down the third base line and in comes, the winning run.
Well, it wouldn't have been a bad thing if it was like a Miguel Andujar or like a DJ or Gio, but since it's Stanton, who should be having that prolific bomb, into left field or center field.
So like actually yesterday's walk-off, I was talking about the walk-off from 2 days ago when LeMahieu hit the little bleeder down the third baseline. No, yesterday's walk-off at least was like a legit rip through the hole in left field. I mean, he hit that ball hard. That was okay. That one was better. But like the one before, it was just like, this is how they win games. It's like so.
Well, that's what you want. You just want base hits to win games. You didn't. I
know. Well,
you're struggling internally.
It just wasn't.
I understand. So this is what
they are a relatively boring.
This is what
they do pitch well.
Last 2 paragraphs of the Guardian article say. Even the New York Mets, with their Twitter dabbling billionaire owner, the best pitcher in baseball, and recent scraps in the tunnel, have a more intriguing product. Yankee fans are noticing tickets to have a recent Wednesday night game against the Braves could be had for as little as $8 on the resale market.
Yeah.
No, the Yankees have nothing going on. They have no bluster. Even Reggie Jackson, the ultimate symbol of Bombers swagger, is now working for the hated Houston Astros after departing New York's payroll. And their ballpark, built to model the original Yankee Stadium, is a homogenized, Las Vegas-like monument to the past that doesn't measure up to the real thing.
It's the mall.
Just like the team that currently plays inside it.
No arguments.
See, I
mean, that's a little dramatic, but I think,
well, he has to, he has to. But I personally don't think that the new Yankee Stadium is a piece of crap. I think if you still had the old Yankee Stadium, fans would be pissed. I really do think that fans would be pissed by going that old stadium smelled and it was uncomfortable. It was uncomfortable. I love it and have it hold it near and dear to my heart. I absolutely. But there was crap teams that had state of the art, super nice stadiums. Like you go to Milwaukee, it's nice and homey. You go to all these stadiums that just were so much nicer. It had more just like amenities. But I love the old Yankee Stadium. It has its place. It shook. That thing shook. I believe this new Yankee Stadium, if the fans could come back, we were there. And it was almost shaking. When they finally made the playoffs against
3 years ago when we were all there together?
That place, it wasn't shaking, but it was like a wild card win. It wasn't a World Series win. That place was absolutely bananas. So I totally disagree with the argument that the stadium's all posh and nobody can do anything, nobody can cheer anymore. That's a bunch of crap. People will cheer when they put a good product on the field. The problem is their product is kind of an empty shell. They can't figure out what to do with half their players. They can't figure out what to do with Gary Sanchez. Get him out behind he should not be catching. There's no reason in the earth why Gary Sanchez should be your catcher. He's got a great arm. That's awesome.
You know what?
But you know what? He should be your DH. You need to capitalize on Giancarlo Stanton's hot streaks right now. See ya, gone. Get rid of him. I don't care. Bye. You need to free up that DH spot. You have too many people. You can't do all this changing lineups every day and everything like that. Athletes are creatures of habit. They need to know where they're going to be batting for the most part. If you want to alternate them between spots, you're going to either be batting third or fifth. You're either going to be batting fourth or second. Those are the things that they can deal with. You can't be all right, today you're batting third. Tomorrow you're batting seventh. Today you're batting ninth. Today you're batting first. You can't do that. Today you're playing center field. Now you're DHing. Oh, wait, now you're going to come off the bench. Now you're going to be doing you can't do that to these guys because then they can't. You need the reps. You need the motion where that is just second nature. And if you keep doing all this, you're never going to put out a solid product on the field. That's the problem. The pitchers aren't having an issue. You want to know why? Because they know they're growing out every 5 days. That's a problem. You're taking these starters who are normally everyday players. You switch the lineup when injuries happen. They happen all the time, especially on this team. That's when you switch it up and say, all right, I know you were batting third, but you know what? Aaron Judge went down. Now you have to move to the fourth spot, or now you have to move to the fifth spot because we think DJ LeMahieu is going to be better in the third spot because of this. And that's where you're going to be stuck until he comes back.
Yep.
Okay, great. That's what you do. You don't keep tinkering with a lineup that much. The Rays can do it. You want to know why? Because they're all 22 years old.
Yeah.
And they're not used to that.
Well,
and
just
they have to fight for their day. They have to fight for their position every single day because they're so young. And they know that if they keep fighting, they'll eventually get paid by another team in 3 to 5 years when their rookie contracts avail up. So that's just please give their position players some solid foundation.
Yeah, and I just keep Stanton in the 2-hole. That's all I can tell you right now. I want to just go quick back to the stadium thing. There is some merit to the argument though about, because I can tell you, I have to date still been at the new Yankee stadiums. I was there for its finest moment, easily, without a doubt. The Game 6 clinching World Series win over the Phillies in 2009. I was there for that game. While it was very loud, I can count easily on another hand how many times I was at big games at the prior Yankee Stadium that were not World Series games.
They were louder.
That had not only louder,
Yeah.
but when you talk about the shaking of the building, to the point where I remember actually being a little bit afraid for my life. Thinking like, how is this structure gonna, how's it gonna stay up? The ground is moving beneath my feet right now.
Yeah.
Two in particular. The Jim Leyritz walk-off home run in the bottom of the 13th in the 1995 Division Series against the Mariners. When he hit that ball into
Those are huge moments, yeah.
When he hit that ball deep into the night and it, went out over the right center field fence. I was in that upper deck. Yeah. That place was, it was up for grabs, and I felt it was like tectonic plates beneath your feet. Yeah. And then the other one that I really remember also being incredibly loud was the get your tokens ready moment in the ALCS, also against the Mariners, when the Yankees beat the Mariners in 2000, when David Justice hit the home run deep into the right field bleachers, 3-run home run to give the Yankees the lead and set up the Subway Series. My wife and I were in the left field upper deck, and I thought it was the end. I actually thought that's where I was going to die. I was going to, all right, I'm going to die in Yankee Stadium.
That's fine.
This is fine. This building is going to collapse under my feet. When the Yankees won in 2009, now again, some of this has to do with the way the building is physically structured also. You have to remember the old Yankee Stadium, when you were in that upper deck, you leaned over and it was like you were on top of the field.
Yeah.
You are now set significantly back in the new Yankee Stadium.
Yeah. It's a little scary.
Like when I can tell you right now, when I have watched most games in section 420A or B, which is basically upper deck directly behind home plate. That's where I've watched most of my Yankee games. I can tell you that being in that seat in the old Yankee Stadium versus the current Yankee Stadium, it's got to be like 100-foot difference as to how much closer you are to the field. Like, I remember the old Yankee Stadium looking down from that spot, and it was almost like the batter's box was right underneath me. At least that's how it felt,
Yeah.
Now you're like way back, and you're just like, oh yeah, there's. I think that's Aaron Judge.
Sit closer to the field.
I don't know. Yeah, it's just, no, I love those seats. But anyways, it's a different structure. But I will tell you though, when we were there in 2017 for the wild card win, and then I was there for subsequent series after that against the Indians and the Astros, that place was rocking. It was like the old Yankee fans had come back. It was rocking. Yeah. It was rocking. It wasn't moving.
See, this is the problem with the stadium too, is that there is so much stuff to do. Like you can just walk around.
Yeah, it's a mall.
You can walk around and get stuff done, particularly during the day. But like, I really feel like in big games, you're not going to be leaving your seat to go do that because you want to sit there and watch the game. You need to be there. You need to have all that stuff on you. Like, and not necessarily in the first to third inning or something like that. Like, yeah, you can kind of walk around and still, you can see the field from everywhere you walk.
Oh yes, the concourse is
it's amazing. But
yes, that part is amazing.
But I think as of like inning 6, 7, 8, like when the game starts getting close, that's when everybody gets back to their seats. They have all their stuff, and they're just now like, all right, game's getting on the line or not, or you're blowing them out, and it's kind of like whatever. But that's when you really are starting to like. That's just how I feel. Like it's different, but it's not like an empty shell. Like that's what I don't like. I don't like the comparison to the current Yankee team because I do believe the current Yankee team is a little bit soulless.
They're not. Yeah, they are.
And they
There's no juice on that bench.
Right. And I think that they need to get that back. And the only way to do that is they have to get some of these superstars that are there out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, you have a Miguel Andujar who's barely going to play. You know what? Free up some spots. Get some young talent in the minors for Giancarlo. You don't need to fill his spot. Just get a bunch of young talent. Like, yo, you want Giancarlo Stanton? All right, well, let's take this pick. You know, that from the last couple of years. We'll take those guys off your hands, and you can have him. And that might help like a team like the Padres or something like that, like get over the top. Like,
well, what the Yankees could do could be similar to what the Marlins did when they traded Stanton to the Yankees, is they could eat some of the contract and they could make it even more palatable.
You don't need to fill his spot with a current on-roster talent. You don't need to do that. You have plenty.
Yeah, you do. Bring Florial. I mean, first of all, the other thing that bothers me about Stanton is, let's be honest, while he could play the field, he's basically an albatross as far as, you know, I mean, he's a DH.
Yes.
He's a DH and he's sucking up that spot. Now, you know, right now you kind of have to back off
the
him
Angels.
a little.
The Angels, that'd be perfect for him.
Yeah, right. It would be. I mean, right now, you know, plus I wouldn't mind him going there because he really couldn't hurt the Yankees unless it was in the postseason.
Yeah, which could happen.
Which could.
With Trout and Stanton.
Back to back. That's scary. The best. And Ohtani? Oh,
yeah.
Imagine those three.
Oh, my God.
He's unbelievable.
That's a hell
Imagine
of
those three.
That's a hell of a 2-3-4 or 3-4-5.
I really wish Ohtani had become a Yankee because he would have been my favorite Yankee. I know he would have been. I know he would have been.
He was good. That would have been nice.
He's a special kid.
But the only place that wanted to let him do both is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. He actually. What was funny was he really never even considered the Yankees. He met with them, but that was it.
Because they probably said, "Yeah, we'll let you pitch." They probably didn't want to let him hit, or they were going to be like, "Yeah, you can play the field." But
if you were the Yankees, though, why wouldn't you want to let the modern day Babe Ruth do his thing?
Because Hal is a.
I mean, how great of a marketing thing.
Hal is he's a weenie. Hal is a weenie. He won't do that because he sees long-term dollars rather than.
He's a money guy.
Yeah. So he doesn't want to put he doesn't want to put high risk on that player. He's like, do one or the other, and then we'll go for it because you can do either. But we're not going to have you do both because that doubles the chances of your injuries.
Isn't it weird? Like, I almost wish that there had been a third Steinbrenner boy or even another, just somebody who would have been somewhere in the middle between Hal and Hank, you know, because Hank was like team extreme, like his dad, but even probably worse.
Well, he's worse because he doesn't know baseball.
And then Hal is just this, you know,
at least George knew baseball.
Hal's just like this weird figurehead that's quiet and doesn't say much, and you rarely hear from him, and it's like he's kind of a recluse. Yeah, he's the accountant. Yeah. Where's they have another kid actually who's also involved. Like, I can't remember her name. The daughter. Like, is she somewhere in the middle? Could she be a better owner?
Oh, I'm sure she could. I'm certain she could.
I don't know.
She probably just doesn't want to.
No, she's involved. I just can't remember what role. I forgot her name. They are a boring team though. They're not fun to watch.
Well, their owner's boring too.
I can't sit there and say like, oh man, I get so geared up to watch Yankee games right now. I just don't.
I don't. There's sometimes I forget. Like, oh crap, the Yankees are on.
Yeah, I mean, I will say I've watched 95% of the games. Yeah, I definitely have.
I'm about 50-50.
I watch.
And if I don't watch, I usually try and catch the highlights after. Like, you know, I'll go on YouTube and be like Yankee highlights, and I'll watch
it's the perfect like wind up to my day. Like, you know, I'll finish work around, you know, hopefully 6:37, sometimes later. But that puts me like, then I go up, I sit on my bed, and I watch the game. All that, you know.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean. It works out well where I get to watch it. And, you know, we do the whole texting thing with the Yankee text group, and that's all fun games and everything. Mm-hmm. But like, yeah, they're just not. But once you start watching them, it's just like, this product sucks.
It's not.
It's not great. I mean, what are they? They're 18-16. They have recently beat up on some bad teams. They had a good homestand. They went 7-2. They really should have gone 8-1. But that fucking Altuve. Oh, that motherfucker! Oh God, I hate him so much. Oh, you know, honestly, he's working his way into Jose Bautista territory for me. Mm-hmm. Actually, him, Correa, and Bregman, the three of them, That is a literal 3-headed monster that I hate. Like a child's nightmare.
I am getting to be more and more less of a fan of Correa. Correa just really makes me angry.
He's a douche.
All right, let's get on to our last little topic of the day here, and that is the Marvel movie characters. That's not just the MCU, because Disney basically owns it all anyway now.
Yeah.
And we're just going straight up around the board. That's all the Fox generated, the Sony. So you could go Peter Parker from, with Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield. You could do any of them. Any of them right now. They're all out there.
That would be a fun topic for a show, like who, and there are merits for all guys, like who was the best Spider-Man Peter Parker between Tobey and Garfield and Tom Holland.
We have a blank spot on our wheel. I can put that in before.
I mean, listen, we can't, none of us can definitively say who the best is, but certainly our favorite. Mm-hmm. I would really have a hard time with that. I like all three of those guys, and there are things about all three that I like. You can even go to the
animated verse too.
Yeah, right. Too. Yeah, with Miles.
Mm-hmm. 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 That was good. Mm-hmm. That was really good.
Yes, it was. Yes,
all right, let's get into the Mount Rushmore. We're not going to spend a lot of time on this. We'll probably spend maybe 10 minutes. So, because we got to wrap this up. We're supposed to have about 5 minutes left, but we'll try and get this in. All right, here it is. The Mount Rushmore of Marvel movie characters.
Yeah.
All right, and then we'll spin the wheel at the end. All right, so let's go first. Who do you got first? We'll start with...
Where are we starting?
Start with Lincoln.
Okay. Well, this won't shock you. My number 2. In fact, I'm pretty sure you...
My number 2.
Number two. Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier.
Oh, wow. All right.
Is
I would have almost guessed he was number 1. All right.
No, he's not number 1. Okay. Number 1 is, we'll get to number 1. We'll get to George in a bit. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I love the Winter Soldier character. I love the way it was portrayed by Sebastian Stan. I love the way that, I love the look of the character. Not so much the clean-cut current look that's in Falcon and Winter Soldier right now, but the badass, the guy who was, genetically altered and just a killing machine, and because that scene when he first shows up, oh man, that's just nuts. That is just, it's an insane scene, but the look with the arm and the hair and just a badass killing machine motherfucker. I just love the character. It just he's just a killing machine. Yes, brainwashed, and now he's kind of going through this, very in the way it's playing out in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It's his evolution as a person, trying to transition like to normal society, but yes, still a superhero, but kind of trying to conform, be a decent human being, all that stuff. And the one thing I did want to do with each one of these as I wrap it up is I just wanted to give you like one quote from each of my guys. And this is a quick one. And this is in, I think it's actually from Winter Soldier. And it's just a scene with him and, back in time scene between him and when he's Bucky and Steve Rodgers before Steve Rodgers is, injected, where he just puts his hand on his shoulders and he says, "I'm with you till the end of the line, pal."
Nice.
So that's my Abraham Lincoln.
All right.
The Winter Soldier, Bucky Barnes.
I like it. All right. My Abraham Lincoln is, it's weird to have him as an Abraham Lincoln because he's so not like Abraham Lincoln. But it's going to be Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds. I absolutely love his portrayal. I loved both of those movies. The second one was a little different than the first, but still had all that fun charm and quick wit and him and back and forth with Cable, like just,
oh god,
so fun and so entertaining, both of those movies. And I
the
can't
dialogue
wait to see
for those movies.
I can't wait to see what Disney does with Deadpool.
The third.
Yeah. I can't wait to see how they.
You
take
need to
this.
bring Cable back too. Well, I mean, well, he's part of X-Force, right? So Cable, right? So
well, I mean, there's a lot of different people in X4, but yes, okay,
yeah.
So it'll be very interesting to see how this plays out because so good, everything about that. I can't
Deadpool is just a quote machine too. Thank
God.
God I didn't pick him because I
Ryan
don't
Reynolds
know what quote I would
is a quote machine. Which you had a good idea. Do an OFN of Ryan Reynolds movies.
Yeah,
and it is on
right.
the wheel, so it is on.
I know.
Wheel. All right.
That's
so
gonna be tough.
I have my Deadpool as Abraham. You have yours, and then as Bucky. All right, now let's get into our Roosevelt.
Okay. So actually, I even have a little prop for Roosevelt. Here's my Roosevelt.
Move it over a little bit. Oh, Loki.
Oh,
that's a good one. That would probably be my wife's George Washington.
Oh, really? Yeah. The God of Mischief, baby. Oh, you want to talk about quote machines too, but just the character so perfectly played and portrayed by Tom Hiddleston. And I am unbelievably excited for that series on Disney Plus. And it looks good. Like, I assume you've seen some of the trailers for it. It looks good.
Yeah, I saw the trailers. Yeah,
it looks good.
It looks interesting.
It looks really interesting.
They moved it to Wednesdays too. They're not going to do it on Friday.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's a good way to break up the week. Actually, kind of. I don't mind that.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'll be so into that series. But like Owen Wilson is in it too, and that looks like a kind of a cool role for him. Yeah. Like the mustache and everything. It's a good. Yeah, I love Loki. Loki is just great. Here's my quote from Loki. This was moments before he was killed. If you're going to Earth, you might want a guide. I do have a bit of experience in that arena. To which Thanos replies, "Well, if you consider failure experience." To which Loki replies, "I consider experience. I love that quote. And that is my. Who was that? Was that Roosevelt?
Yes. That
Okay.
was your Roosevelt.
All right.
So mine is. This was tough for me because he is one of my all-time favorite Marvel characters. And I can't say there was times I didn't particularly love how he was portrayed in certain aspects of the movie, but overall I loved him. I love the way he debuted in this cinematic universe.
Yeah.
And that is Chadwick Boseman as Black Panther. He's going to be my Teddy Roosevelt because I feel like when he came on and they introduced him, I was like, that is my man, Black Panther. The way that he was chasing down, Bucky and trying to get him, and Captain America's trying to go after, and he's just like, he is between two of these guys, these super soldiers, they could not take Black Panther down, and that is how intense and incredible Black Panther was. Yeah. Is that he was just not going to be, he was smarter than you for the most part. I would argue that Tony Stark is smarter than him, but it's close. It's not anywhere near as, like, it'd be kind of one of those things that Iron Man would be in the room and be like, okay, I have someone that's like almost an equal here. Like him and Doctor Strange, like those are the guys that are kind of like the smart guys in the room. Even, I don't even put, Hulk and Bruce Banner on that level. I feel like Tony Stark and them, I even know that Tony Stark and Bruce Banner kind of worked together a lot.
Yep.
And they were the masters of their fields. I just felt like Tony Stark was just on that notch above Bruce Banner. And I feel like even Doctor Strange and them were kind of on the same level. And Black Panther might be more on that Bruce Banner on that level. But love that. I love Bruce Banner. I love Black Panther. And I love the way that Chadwick Boseman played him, especially when they introduced him.
Yes, that's a good one. Excellent one. Panther probably would have been on my honorable mentions.
Okay.
So what are we up to, Jefferson?
Yes, TJ.
Well, my TJ, and I wanted to keep this. I wanted this to sort of be what I refer to as a chalk-free list.
Yeah.
And by chalk, I refer to guys who I consider to be the big four: Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, Hulk.
Okay.
If you want to, but I, I couldn't help myself. I had to include the guy, one of the characters who really started this whole thing, especially with the MCU. Basically the what Hulk Hogan would have been in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, or in Marvel in general. Captain America. What, I wanted to
Without
avoid
the
one of the big, right, sans the racism. I wanted to really keep those guys off the list, but I couldn't. I just kept going back to the fact I fucking love Steve Rogers. Yeah, he is
Chris Evans
great.
did a great job playing him.
He is, yes, exactly. It was a lot of it had to do with the Chris Evans portrayal.
He's underrated as a character, even though he's completely loved.
Right, he's completely loved.
He's not on my list though. Which is weird because I love
Captain
America.
And let's remember, he was the only other person worthy enough to wield the hammer of Thor. So, and that is a great cinematic moment. I mean, you've seen that video. All you got to do is YouTube it. That movie theater video when the hammer starts to rise off the ground.
Yeah.
And it lands in his hand, and that theater is up for grabs. I mean, that's just an all-time. That is an all-time.
And Thor was like, "I knew it.
I knew it." And then Thanos kicks him in the face. Yeah. But of course, I could not do a Steve Rogers quote without the one that I believe is the best, which is the Endgame speech. I'll run through it very quickly.
Oh, okay.
5 years ago, we lost. All of us. We lost friends. We lost family. We lost a part of ourselves. Today, we have a chance to take it all back. You know your teams. You know your missions. Get the stones. Get them back. 1 round trip each. No mistakes. No do-overs. Most of us are going somewhere we know. That doesn't mean we should know what to expect. Be careful. Look out for each other. This is the fight of our lives, and we're going to win. Whatever it takes. Good luck. And then you have Rocket go, he's pretty good at that. And Ant-Man's like, right? But my favorite part of that whole speech, and I still believe, and I know this is just a weird thing to say, I still believe this is the best piece of acting Robert Downey Jr. did in this entire MCU. He didn't have to say a word. At the end of that speech, there's just something about the look that Tony Stark gives him as he's wrapping up that speech. Just God damn, you're great. You're just like, it's just this awesome look. Just watch it. Watch the scene and just watch that quick little look that Tony Stark gives to Captain America. But it's
Captain
like
America, you could tell kind of rubbed off on Tony Stark a little
But
bit.
that's the brilliance of Robert Downey Jr. playing Iron Man and playing Tony Stark, was he didn't have to say a word. His facial Robert Downey Jr. is such a gifted actor. His facial expression in that moment, after Cap gives that incredible speech, is just, it sums it up. It sums up every feeling he has about Captain America without a word coming out of his mouth.
I agree.
It's just awesome.
Yeah. All right, we'll get into my Thomas Jefferson, which is very fitting because mine is Iron Man, and it's mainly I am a big. Very nice. I am one of those guys that is very anti Iron Man 2 and 3. Love Iron Man 1, but I particularly love Iron Man in all of the Avengers movies.
Oh yeah.
Even in Civil War.
Oh yeah.
All those movies, the way that he is just the smartest man in the room, and on top of that, the stuff that goes back and forth between him and Captain America is just incredible. And this would never have been possible without him. This whole franchise,
yes,
rested on his shoulders.
It did,
and he got paid handsomely for it.
Yes,
and he's a talented actor, and I'm glad he got a second chance to be an actor, and took this role and ran with it, because I'm not sure many others could have done what he did.
No.
So I'm gonna
no one else could have done this.
I'm going to give him that role as TJ. Even though he's not like a cornerstone here, he could have been. But
Still
he's
made
one of
the
those
big
guys I've
four.
already talked about, smartest man in the room. I really feel like he's the smartest man. And I think Thanos even realized that,
Yes.
oh, this guy's on my level.
I hope they remember you.
Yeah. This guy's on my level.
It's what he said.
Yeah.
And I hope they remember you.
Because he knew that
did.
guy, if there was a guy that was going to figure out a way to beat him with his brain, it's that guy.
That's a great underrated line too from that movie is I hope they remember you because that was his way of showing respect to Tony Stark.
Yeah.
Now, you did mention earlier when you were talking about Tony Stark how there were not many guys who could go toe to toe with him intellectually, but you did mention my George Washington in there. And this is a guy who, God, I fell in love with this character as I fell in love with this character when I saw him on a comic book cover when I was a kid, a comic book that I still have, which I wanted to dig up to show, but I don't know where my comic book box is, which I need to find. Just making me nervous now because I've got some comic books in there that I really want to look at. I like to pull that box out like once every 6 or so years just to like see what's in the comic book box that I have.
The comic book box. You like to pull that box out again.
Right. So anyways, yeah, I like to pull the comic book box out, but this comic book, I remember just seeing this comic book cover and being like, this guy looks cool. And that guy is Doctor Strange.
Stephen Strange.
Dr. Stephen Strange, who right now is down the street performing open heart surgery, according to the Ancient One. You're 5 years too early.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange is just this. And honestly,
he is.
Benedict Cumberbatch really
Perfect guy.
brought perfect. Because when I first saw this comic book cover with Doctor Strange on it, and then I saw Benedict Cumberbatch, I was like, wow, like this is just fantastic casting. Like this is amazing casting job right there. Like you found the perfect guy to play, just as finding Tony Stark was the perfect guy. Honestly, let's be honest.
When it comes to
casting, yes, casting is just Kevin Feige to whatever extent he's involved in all of that. I mean, just nailed all of that. He really did.
100%.
And so it is kind of ironic though too that my quote for Doctor Strange is actually a little unstrange-like, at least because he's such a well-spoken guy. But this quick little exchange with Tony Stark, where Doctor Strange starts off by saying, "If we don't do our jobs," to which Tony Clark quickly interrupts, "What is your job exactly besides making balloon animals?" "Protecting your reality, douchebag." That's Dr. Stephen Strange and Tony Stark going at it. And that actually in the Infinity War and Endgame movies in particular, their exchanges, especially in Infinity War, are great.
Yes.
Really, really good. Really good, like back and forth dialogue between them. Like, you know, just kind of dick measuring stuff. That's really pretty funny. Yeah. So that is my George Washington, Dr. Stephen Strange.
Okay. I like
Dr. Strange, baby.
My George Washington is a person who is potentially no longer with the franchise. And that is a character who had also basically taken a comic book franchise and kind of put it on his shoulders and ran with it. And that is Hugh Jackman as
Wolverine.
And not necessarily, I want to say a lot of his movies, his solo movies weren't great. I will say in the X-Men franchise, especially Days of Future Past and Logan, that movie, those Logan. Are where you got to really see him and his acting skill and just a good Wolverine. Even in I would say in an X2, he was pretty good in there. That was one of my favorite movies of the franchise. X1, the first one, X-Men, also very good. But ultimately, that Logan movie, where at the very end, where you got to see a lot more emotional range, an old battered Wolverine going head to head with a younger version of himself, and you know, just getting beat down from time to time, but ultimately coming out with a win, kind of. He is one of, if not my favorite character of all time. Because it's something that with someone who has like a arthritis, and I had bad car accident, and left my knee kind of in shambles and my leg in shambles for years. It's always been something that I just you want a superpower. My superpower I want the ability to reheal. I want to be able to heal fast and be back and like not have to really worry about what happened. Because the ramifications, it's something that I would love to have. But like Logan, he's got so much more depth than a lot of the comic book, not necessarily comic book sometimes gives him some good depth, but he has an emotional range, especially in Logan, and in the comic book Logan, there's just so much there, and it's it's really, really good. I really enjoyed it. So that
is probably, it's definitely a top 3 to 5, but the Logan trailer is one of the best trailers I've ever seen. When that movie first came out, the trailer with the Johnny Cash hurt, it was just perfect. Yeah, perfect, an absolutely perfect trailer.
Cool.
Like I never wanted to see a movie more, and it was a great movie, and it held up, of course, to the trailer.
It was an amazing movie,
but an incredible movie. That's a rarity too, by the way, when a movie actually holds up to its trailer, because trailers, you could always piece enough, crap together from a movie to make it look good.
Sure.
I mean, even some of the Justice League trailers, the original Justice League before the Snyder Cut, looked pretty good.
Some of it,
some of it. But not to, you certainly didn't think it was going to be the trash compacting piece of shit that it was when you saw it after seeing the trailer. But
all right,
sure enough.
All right, so that's pretty much it for our show today. Thank you guys for sticking around and watching. Sound off in the comment section below. Who are your favorite Marvel movie characters? We are going to spin that wheel, and then we are going to get the heck out of here. Here we go. All right, and let's see. Wheel. Where's the wheel at? There it is. Here we go. We have one blank on here. I'll have to write one more. Hopefully we don't land on the blank.
I want OFN of Ryan Reynolds.
Recast the movie Animal House.
Oh no. No. You know what? I'll have fun with that. I'll have fun with that. I mean, that's my favorite comedy of all time. So I'll have fun with that one. I can do it. So we got to decide. I mean, obviously we need Otter.
I'll let you pick
Flounder.
I'll let you pick the characters. I'll let you pick the
Niedermeyer.
All right, so that's pretty much it for our show. Thank you guys for watching and listening. We appreciate all the help. All the views. All the I think we had like 5 viewers at one time. Thank you. Thank you. And then also, if you could head on over to Twitter, go ahead and vote. As of right now, 16 votes, and 62.5% say nope. It's getting a little closer. 37.5% say yep. On our Twitter poll is Aaron Rodgers a whiny prima donna? Okay, so thank you guys for watching. You can find me on Twitter at EinhornIsFinkel. You can find the show at Shane and Bryman. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Shane and the Bryman.
You can find me on Twitter at _Bry_man. And to quote your Thomas Jefferson, Mr. Tony Stark, part of the journey is the end. We've reached the end of our show, but we will be back next week. Ooh, with a real fun recasting of Animal House.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
It's going to be a tough one.
I'm going to need all week for this.
All right. So thank you guys very much for watching. We will be back next Monday around 9-ish, and we will definitely be back with the Animal House recast. Who knows what else we're going to bring to the table. If you have anything, go ahead and let us know in the comments if you want us to talk about it in future episodes. If you want, we can also hit us up on Twitter. Let us know there what you want us to talk about. If there's something in particular, sports and sorts related. Thank you guys again for watching, listening, and we will talk to you guys again soon. Peace.
Thank you for all your help. Yeah. Stay classy, Planet Glove.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah. Hit that subscribe. Smash it, baby. Hit the notification bell to let you know whenever we go live, because we will be dropping clips of the show throughout the week. Peace.